Welcome to the Legacy Podcast, making our Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) more famous for action. Very important for you to know that being aware of these goals is a great deal, so action should be your goal. You don't have to save the whole world today, talk more of transforming yourself or your approaches completely now. You just have to pick one or more goals that speaks to your heart and start there gradually to gain more knowledge and to do your action. This is what the Legacy Podcast is here to do for you. Make you hear that knowledge and show you what actions to take. That is how you become transformed for a sustainable change. You know how it says Rome was not built in a day. Well, you are that Rome. Neither you or the whole world can be changed in 24 hours. But the knowledge and motivation you gain today and onwards from the Legacy Podcast will matter a lot towards the step you start to take for that sustainable change. Whether for yourself, for your community, for your nation, or for the people around you. I am your host, United Nations Mama, and I'm so glad you are here. Today's legacy, on the Legacy Podcast, we call our episodes Legacy. Today's legacy would be to introduce the Sustainable Development Goals, also known as SDGs. Let's go back to 2015 for a second. It was a transformative moment. Every one of the 193 United Nations member states gathered together. Literally now I'm talking about every one of our leaders from every nation of the world gathered together and agreed on a roadmap for your and our planet's future. That makes so much sense. Calling it the 2030 Agenda. At the end of this legacy today, I'm going to educate you briefly about the United Nations organization itself. So the wrap of the decision agreed to by our leaders was or is a total of 17 goals that boils down to 3 big promises. So it's basically saying the Sustainable Development Goals are 17 in number, and they are a global to-do list for the people and planet. The 3 big promises that wraps up the whole 17 global goals are: 1. To end poverty in all its forms. Secondly, to protect our planet from the many stuff it's going through. Thirdly, to ensure prosperity, meaning a good life for you no matter where you are. The 17 Global Sustainable Development Goals, I'm going to list them out. Thereafter, I'm going to individually introduce you to what it means for both you and me. Number 1 goal is no poverty. Number 2 SDGs, zero hunger. Number 3 Sustainable Development Goals is good health and well-being. Number 4 is quality education. Number 5, gender equality. Number 6, clean water and sanitation. Number 7, affordable and clean energy. Number 8, decent work and economic growth. Number 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. Number 10, reduced inequalities. Number 11, sustainable cities and communities. Number 12, responsible consumption and production. Number 13, climate action. Number 14, life below water. Number 15, life on land. Number 16, peace, justice and strong institutions. Number 17, partnerships for the goals. In a low voice, not to make you too disappointed, these goals were created to be achieved by 2030. The goals were created in 2015 to be achieved by 2030. How many years do we have left? Now we are in 2026. The clock is ticking, but I want you to believe for yourself personally and for the change you can contribute to your world that the legacy is just beginning. Your legacy, your transformative change could start now. It doesn't matter if you didn't know about these goals last year, or if you knew them and you have not done anything about them, or you have not aligned your passion to them, or you are just nonchalant about them, pushing them to our governments to work on like it's their business. No, it's your business. And that is one of the things the Legacy Podcast is here to do, to open your eyes to know that these goals are also for you to work towards. You can contribute greatly to the achievement of these goals. Among all these goals, number 17 becomes a favorite one for me. Partnerships for the goals. Is the United Nations or the leaders who came together and made these goals trying to say we cannot do this on our own. We need you and me, people like us, to join hands and make this possible, to make the planet we live in more comfortable and our own lives more comfortable. Imagine where there is no poverty at all. Imagine a situation where there is zero hunger. You don't look for what to eat. You have both the financial means and the food available. There is one thing for the food to be available. There's another thing for you to not to have any work to do to gain or any financial means to gain the money to eat the food. Imagine where you have both the money and the food to eat and you don't have the good health and well-being. No good medical facilities, no good medications or drugs. Now imagine even when you have all these things and you can't afford, or there's no quality education in your nation or in your community or in your state. These are the things our leaders saw, or the United Nations organizations came together and said, we cannot watch our people and our planet continue to suffer. That is why they created each one of these goals that boils down to making you comfortable and making our planet good to dwell in. Okay, let's dive into what these goals actually look like for you and me. To make it more easy for you to understand, I have grouped these 17 goals into 4 parts. Part 1, the people goals. Part 2, the planet goals. Part 3, the prosperity goals. Part 4, the glue goals. What holds it all together? Alright, let's get into the heart of this. The first 5 goals are all about people, because let's be honest now, if we don't have our health and our dignity, nothing else matters. It said a living dog is better than a dead lion, as powerful as a lion is. Said a living dog is better than its stars. Life is very, very important. Your life as a person, you living as a person is very important. So part 1, the people goals, consists of goals 1 to 5. Goal 1, no poverty, as we mentioned. This is just about this is not just about having some money. It's about making sure nobody has to wonder how they will survive the day. It's about making sure you don't wonder how you survive, get through each day, whether in the work you do, work of your hands, or in the food that you eat. Everything should be provided from all corners is meant to come from, and you also can be part of that change in ensuring that there is no poverty. Example, by working to produce foods, whether through agriculture or you are in an industry, ensuring that every day people don't have to worry about how they survive each day. The work provision is there, the food provision is there, the financial provision is there, the basic need is there, the shelter, the clothing. This is what makes the global goals wonderful. Everybody working in every sector has something to contribute. The person working in clothing industry is doing a lot, or is sewing clothes, is doing a lot to make sure that there is no poverty in the aspect of in the clothing aspect. The person working in the building industry, be architects or people who actually build house or design cities, is making sure that someone does not have to worry, or you don't have to worry about your shelter. The home is provided. Now, all these jobs or industry, one way or the other, they are providing jobs for you literally to work and make the financial means to pay for those services, to pay for your clothing, to pay for your housing, to pay for your food. So no poverty means that you don't have to struggle to survive per day. It's not per month, it's not per year, per day. You don't have to struggle to survive per day. Goal 2, zero hunger. This means that enough food should be produced to feed the whole world, you and me. Yet, it's not being fulfilled. Millions still go to bed hungry. So goal 2, zero hunger, is about fixing that broken system. What is causing this hunger in the world? Is it that there is actually no food in the city or in the community or in the nation you are dwelling in that is causing you to be hungry? Or is it that you don't have the financial means to get through? What exactly is causing this hunger? Zero hunger, if you are going to focus on the goal of zero hunger, you are going to be looking into the system that is what is making this zero hunger, what is making hunger thrive, what is causing this hunger actually. Now, when you find out the cause, you being part of the goal means that one way or the other, you are providing the solution. No matter how small you think your action is of a great deal. Imagine, for example, you're an agriculturist, or maybe you didn't even study it in school. You learned it as a work, and in your backyard, or you have a garden producing fresh vegetables, tomatoes, or you have a farm where you cultivate yam or beans, and that yam or beans is feeding your community or your area where you dwell in, you supply to shops. You are literally part of ensuring that there is no hunger. Meaning that another person can come into a shop and is asking for rice and is receiving it immediately. Is asking for beans and is receiving it immediately. Is asking for fresh tomatoes or vegetables and is receiving it immediately. There is no cause of alarm in the sense that you come into a shop and you are asking for this and they say it's not available. You go to another shop, they say it's not available. You literally go round and round and round and say it's not available. And maybe the availability is far from coming or even in another far away area. How will you feel? So everyone farmer out there, I'm using farmers for example now, everyone farmer out there, whether they are small scale, middle scale, large scale, they are contributing greatly to ensuring that both you and I don't go hungry. There is something out there for us to eat. So goal 2 is all about this. Goal 3, which is still under the people's goal, good health and well-being. Okay, I want you to think of this goal as a personal or global self-care, where there is provision of medicines, vaccines, good mental health care, and making sure a mother does not die just because she's giving life. Yes, making sure that whatever symptoms you are having, there is a medication for sickness you may face, whether it's your fault or it's not your fault, whether it's through your eating habits or your genetics. There's persons that have genetically inherited diseases or sickness. It's not their fault. It has nothing to do with what they were eating. So just passed down through their parents. Making sure that the medications or the cure for these sicknesses or disease you may see as common or is termed terminal, there is good facility for them, for you to take care of yourself. So goal 3, good health and well-being, is all about this and much more about it. Okay, imagine in 2020, where there was COVID-19. Is it 2019 or 2020? There was COVID. Now that is a global alarm of insecurity in healthcare. Do you see how the nations of the world faced it head on? Ensured that everybody was on lockdown, schools, so many systems provided exactly what was needed, whether vaccines or steps to take to avoid you being infected. This is what good health and well-being is all about on a global scale. Imagine during that 2020 COVID, our leaders, everybody relax and say they don't care, it does not matter. How would you, even you in your household, feel? Or the medical doctor near you, on your community, on your favorite hospital you love to go, say it has nothing to do with him, or he cannot treat you, or he cannot take you in, or this hospital is not taking in this type of sickness. Just how would you feel? So is global health ensures that everybody everywhere is provided for, whether through facility or whether through medical personnel. And you, if you're a medical personnel, your brother or your sister, can you see how they are contributing greatly to make sure that you or another person has a good health, whether through prescribing the correct medications, even the nurses that injects gives you injection through. Do you see how each one of them is actually major contributors to ensure that there is good health and well-being? Now talk more of the industries, the technological or scientific industries that actually provide or design the facilities that ensure good health care, the hospital beds, CT scan, and all of that. So this is why we say in the Legacy podcast that everyone is part of the action. Everyone is important to make these goals achievable. So for quality education, not just sitting in a classroom, but actual learning that empowers you to change your life, your community, or your nation. Goal 5, gender equality. This is a big one. We cannot move forward as species if half of the population is being held back. It's about equal pay, equal respect, and equal power. We cannot say one gender is higher than the other, and maybe in works or so many other situations we want to disregard the other gender and pick another gender. Today is not really for samples, it's just to introduce you to these goals. So let's move forward to part 2, the planet goals. The planet goals consist of goals 6, goals number 12, 13, 14, and 15. Now we have to talk about our home. The planet, the Earth, planet Earth is our home. We have only one. If we don't protect the environment, the rest of these goals won't have a place to live. Even you won't have a place to live. Goal 6, clean water and sanitation. Water is life, period. Cleanliness, I'm sure no one needs to overemphasize on its importance. You know deep down. Goal 12, responsible consumption and production. We've got to stop the buy, use, throw away culture. It's about being smarter with what we make, what we waste, especially the transformation of new products that could come from the so-called waste. A lot of things that we waste and our waste today can be transformed into newer products, are used to make much better, greater products. Goal 13, climate action. We are feeling the heat literally. This is an emergency siren for the planet. Goal 14 and 15, life below water and life on land. From the deepest oceans to the highest forests, we have to stop the destruction of the creatures we share this earth with. Part 3, the prosperity goals, consisting of goals 7 to 11. Anyway, it's good for you to know that sustainability is not just about saving things. It's about making them last so long, thriving really well enough. This is where prosperity comes in. It's not just about saying, okay, I have saved the day. That day that you saved, how long can it last? Goal 7, affordable and clean energy. We are still under the prosperity goals. We need to power our lives without cooking the planet, without literally burning ourselves while we are trying to live comfortable. So we can use much better source or means to generate energy, like the solar, that's the sun or the wind. Goal 8, decent work and economic growth. Everyone deserves a job that pays them fairly. That you deserve a job that pays you fairly and treats you with respect. Goal 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. This is about building the bridges or the facilities and the internet and the technology that connects us all. Goal 10, reduce inequalities. That is closing the gap between the haves and the have-nots, both between individuals, between people, and within countries. Um, this person have, this person don't have. Why? So this goal 10, reducing inequalities, is about closing that gap, letting providing systems that says you have this, another person can have it. Yes. And this is one of the reasons why sometimes inequalities become a big issue, because when someone have what you don't have, it feels like they are in the higher, they feel so high and so big about themselves. I'm sure you can relate to those kind of scenarios. Goal 11, sustainable cities and communities. Most of us live in cities now, so we need these cities to be safe and breathable. Part 4, finally, the glue goals. Goals 16 and 17. They are actually called the glue goals because they are the goals that hold every other goal together. Goal 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. You can't have development in a war zone. We need fair laws and honest leaders. Goal 17, partnerships for the goal. It's the UN, the United Nations, saying we can't do this alone. Governments, businesses, and people like you and me, we have to team up. We have to team up together in every way we can, wherever we are, to make sure that the people and the planet is safe. You and me are safe. So we have come to the end of the introduction of these global sustainable development goals. And as I promised to educate you about the United Nations organization, here is what you need to know about the UN organization. The United Nations organization emerged as an effort to create a more sustainable organization than its predecessor, the League of Nations, which had failed to maintain peace. This idea was influenced by the aftermath of World War I and the failure of the League of Nations to enforce resolutions. After World War II, global leaders sought a new approach to prevent the reoccurrence of such widespread devastation, creating an organization that could effectively address international conflicts and provide mechanisms for diplomacy to avoid war. The need for such an organization became even clearer after experiencing the horrors of war, and the goal was to establish a structure that would make it more difficult for countries to rush into conflicts, ensuring that diplomatic alternatives were available. The United Nations (UN) was established in the aftermath of World War II in 1945 with the goal of preventing these future global conflicts and fostering international cooperation. It was born out of the desire to avoid the widespread devastation seen in the two world wars. The founding of the UN was driven by the need for a platform where countries could engage in diplomacy and collectively address global issues such as peace, security, development. So the United Nations replaced the League of Nations, which has failed to prevent the outbreak of World War II. The primary purposes of the UN includes maintaining international peace and security by resolving conflicts through peaceful means, and, if necessary, taking collective action. Developing friendly relations among nations based on respect for equal rights and self-determination. Promoting social progress and better standards of living by tackling issues such as poverty, hunger, education, and human rights. The UN has grown ever since then, dealing with these mandates so well, with a wide range of global challenges from health crisis to climate change, while continuing to work for peace and security. The United Nations is a universal organization. It represents most of the world, if not all the world. There are 193 nations, members of the United Nations, and the total number of nations in the world today are about 195. So 193 out of 195 or 196 are thereabouts are among the United Nations. So it's housing literally all the nations of the world, and there are so many programs and specialized agencies in the UN. The UN just has to work because there's no other organization that could do more action and justice global. It remains one of the most important international organizations aimed at fostering global peace, security, cooperation among nations. Um, it continues to tackle complex issues from climate change, poverty eradication, to upholding human rights and promoting sustainable development. Thank you for joining the Legacy Podcast today. Stay tuned with the Legacy Podcast as we break down these goals one by one in the incoming weeks or months. I'm sure you could discover a lot more on where exactly you belong or where you need to be, even better ways to create sustainable changes from where you already are and from what you are doing.